The delivery man put the box in Sarah's hands and ran back to his van. "Wait!" Sarah shouted. "This is not mine!" But the van door closed. The van drove away. Sarah stood in front of her apartment building with a large brown package in her arms. She looked at the label. The name was not Sarah Brown. The name was Daniel Reed. Sarah frowned. "I don't know Daniel Reed," she said. Then she saw the apartment number. Apartment 4B. Sarah lived in apartment 4D. "Oh no," she whispered. "This package belongs to someone in this building." She looked at her phone. It was 8:10 in the morning. She had an online job interview at 9. She needed to be ready, calm, and on time. But the package was marked urgent medical supplies. Sarah's stomach felt tight. "This is important," she said. "I must give it to the right person before my interview." She carried the box inside the building. The lift was not working. A paper sign said, "Out of order." Sarah sighed. "Of course," she said. She looked at the stairs. Apartment 4B was on the 4th floor. She carried the heavy box up the stairs. On the 2nd floor, the box slipped a little. "Oh," she said. An older woman opened her door. "Are you okay?" the woman asked. "Yes, thank you," Sarah said. "I'm looking for apartment 4B. This package came to me by mistake." The woman looked at the label. "Daniel Reed?" she said. "I don't know him." "Do you know who lives in 4B?" "I think a young man moved in last week," the woman said, "but I'm not sure." "Thank you," Sarah said. She continued up the stairs. On the 4th floor, Sarah found apartment 4B. She knocked. No answer. She knocked again. "Hello?" she called. "I have your package." No answer. Sarah checked the time. 8:22. She had 38 minutes before the interview. "I can leave it at the door," she said. Then she looked at the label again. Urgent medical supplies. "No," she said. "I can't leave this outside." A door opened behind her. A man looked out. "Can I help you?" he asked. "Yes," Sarah said. "Do you know Daniel Reed?" The man shook his head. "No, I just moved here too." "This package is for 4B, Sarah said. "But nobody is answering." The man looked worried. "If it says medical supplies, maybe it is important." "I know," Sarah said. "That is why I'm trying to find him." Her phone rang. It was the interview company. Sarah's eyes opened wide. She answered quickly. "Hello?" A woman said, "Good morning, Sarah. This is Emily from Green Office Solutions. We are confirming your interview at 9. "Yes, thank you," Sarah said. "I'll be ready." "Please join 5 minutes early." "Yes, I will." Sarah ended the call and looked at the package. "I have to fix this fast," she said. She went downstairs to the building entrance. There was a notice board near the mailboxes. She searched for Daniel Reed's name. There was no Daniel Reed. Apartment 4B had no name. Sarah saw the building caretaker outside. "Mr. Omar?" she called. The caretaker turned. "Yes, Sarah?" "This package came to me by mistake," she said. "It belongs to Daniel Reed in 4B. Do you know him?" Mr. Omar looked at the label. 4B is new," he said. "The tenant arrived last week. Do you have his phone number?" "I cannot give phone numbers," Mr. Omar said. "It is private." "I understand," Sarah said. "But the package says urgent medical supplies." Mr. Omar looked serious.
I can call him from my phone, he said. Thank you, Sarah said. Mr. Omar called. No answer. He called again. No answer. Sarah checked the time. 8:34. I have an interview at 9, she said, but I can't keep this package.
Mr. Omar said, "Maybe you can leave it with me?" Sarah looked at the package. "Will you be here all morning?" Mr. Omar looked uncomfortable. "I need to go to another building in 10 minutes." Sarah shook her head. "Then he may not get it." At that moment, a young woman came into the building. She was carrying coffee and keys. Sarah asked, "Excuse me, do you know Daniel Reed in 4B?" The woman stopped. "Daniel?" she said. "Maybe. Is he the man with glasses?" "I don't know," Sarah said. "He asked me yesterday about the nearest pharmacy," the woman said. "He looked worried." Sarah looked at the box again. Medical supplies. "Do you know where he went?" "No," the woman said, "but I heard him tell someone he works at the small print shop near the corner." Sarah's heart beat faster. "The print shop?" Sarah asked. "Yes, maybe." Sarah checked the time. 8:39. The print shop was 5 minutes away. Her interview was in 21 minutes. She had to choose. "I'll go," she said. Mr. Omar said, "Sarah, are you sure?" "You have an interview." "I know," Sarah said, "but this package may be important." She carried the box outside. The street was busy. A taxi stopped near her. The driver shouted, "Taxi?" "No, thank you," Sarah said. "It's close." She walked quickly. The box was heavy. Her laptop bag pulled on her shoulder. A man bumped into her. "Sorry," he said. "It's okay," Sarah said. The package slipped again. She held it tightly. "Please don't break," she whispered. At the corner, she saw the print shop. The sign said, "Fast Print." Sarah pushed the door open. A bell rang. A young worker looked up. "Good morning," he said. "Good morning," Sarah said. "I'm looking for Daniel Reed." The worker frowned. "Daniel? He is not here." "Does he work here?" "He started yesterday," the worker said. "But he is not here today." Sarah felt her hope fall. "Do you have his number?" she asked. "I can't give it," the worker said. "I understand," Sarah said quickly. "This package came to the wrong apartment. It says urgent medical supplies." The worker looked at the box. "Oh," he said. "He was worried yesterday. He said he was waiting for something important. Can you call him?" The worker picked up his phone. He called. No answer. Sarah closed her eyes for a second. "Please," she whispered. The worker said, "Maybe he went to the clinic?" "The clinic?" "Yes, he asked me about a clinic on Garden Street." Sarah checked the time. 8:47. Her interview was in 13 minutes. Garden Street was 10 minutes away. She could not go there and return in time. Her phone buzzed. A message from the interview company appeared. "Please join the meeting at 8:55. Sarah stared at the screen. Her hands shook. The worker said, "Are you okay?" Sarah took a breath. "I have an interview in 8 minutes, she said. "Oh," he said. "Then leave the package here." "But what if he doesn't come?" The worker pointed to the label. "Look, there is a delivery company phone number." Sarah looked. There was a small number under the barcode. "Can I call them?"
she asked. Yes, the worker said. Call them now. Sarah called the delivery company. A recorded voice answered. Press 1 for delivery. Press 2 for lost packages. Sarah pressed 2. Then she waited. A woman answered. Delivery support, how can I help you? Sarah spoke fast. Hello, I received a package that is not mine. It belongs to Daniel Reed.
The address is almost correct, but the apartment number was wrong. It says urgent medical supplies. What is the tracking number? The woman asked. Sarah read the number. The woman typed. 1 moment, please. Sarah looked at the clock on the wall. 8:51. The woman came back. Yes, this package is for Daniel Reed. I know, Sarah said. Can you contact him? We can send a message to the driver, the woman said. How long will it take? Maybe 1 hour. Sarah almost dropped the phone. 1 hour? It says urgent.
I'm sorry, the woman said. That is our process. Sarah looked at the worker. He whispered, Ask if there is a phone number on the order. Sarah nodded. Can you call the customer directly? Sarah asked. We cannot share his number, the woman said. But we can call him. Please call him now, Sarah said. I'm trying to help. 1 moment. Sarah waited. 8:53. Her interview link was waiting on her phone. Her hands shook. The woman returned. He did not answer. Sarah felt stuck. Then the woman said, But we sent him a text message. Sarah asked, Can you tell him the package is at fast print on the corner? I can include that message, the woman said. Thank you, Sarah said. She ended the call. The worker said, You can join your interview from here. We have a small table. Sarah looked surprised. Really? Yes. Sit there. The Wi-Fi password is on the wall. Sarah almost smiled. Thank you so much. She put the package on the counter. Please don't give it to anyone except Daniel Reed, she said. I won't, the worker said. Sarah opened her laptop. The Wi-Fi did not connect. No, she said softly. The worker came over. Sometimes the password has a capital F, he said. Sarah typed again. It connected. 8:55. She joined the meeting. Her camera opened. Her hair was messy. Her face was tired. Emily, the interviewer, smiled. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Sarah said. Emily looked at the background. Are you in a shop? Sarah froze. Yes, she said. I'm sorry. I had a small emergency with a package this morning. Emily raised her eyebrows. A package? Sarah took a breath. Yes. I received a package that was not mine. It said urgent medical supplies. So I tried to find the right person. Emily listened. Sarah added, I did not want to miss the interview. Emily nodded slowly. That sounds stressful. It was, Sarah said, but I'm ready now. The interview started. Emily asked, How do you handle problems under pressure? Sarah almost laughed. She looked at the package on the counter. I try to stay calm, Sarah said. First, I check the facts. Then I ask for help. Then I look for the next possible step. Emily smiled. That is a good answer. Sarah answered more questions. She still felt worried about the package. Every few minutes,
She looked at the door.
No, Daniel. The interview was almost finished. Then the shop door opened. A young man rushed in. He wore glasses. His face was pale. "Excuse me," he said. "Did someone leave a package here?" Sarah turned. The worker pointed to Sarah. "She brought it." Sarah covered her microphone. "Are you Daniel Reed?" she asked. "Yes," he said quickly. "I'm Daniel. I got a text from the delivery company." Sarah pointed to the package. "It came to my apartment by mistake." Daniel looked at the label. "Oh, thank God," he said. "My mother needs this today." Sarah's face softened. "I'm glad you found it." Daniel held the box carefully. "I'm so sorry," he said. "I changed apartments last week. Maybe I wrote the wrong number." "It's okay," Sarah said. "Please check the address next time." "I will," Daniel said. "Thank you. Really, thank you." Emily's voice came from the laptop. "Sarah?" Sarah quickly removed her hand from the microphone. "I'm sorry," she said. "The package owner just arrived." Emily smiled. "I heard enough," she said. "You solved the problem." Sarah felt embarrassed. "I hope that was not unprofessional." Emily said, "Actually, it was very real. Our company works with customers every day. Mistakes happen. People panic. Someone must stay polite and useful." Sarah breathed out. "Thank you." Emily said, "We will contact you tomorrow." The interview ended. Sarah closed her laptop and sat back. For the first time that morning, she smiled. Daniel was still near the door. He looked confused. "Sorry," he said. "Was that your job interview?" "Yes," Sarah said. His eyes opened wide. "Oh no. Did I ruin it?" Sarah laughed softly. "I don't think so." Daniel said, "I feel terrible." "Don't," Sarah said. "Just take the package to your mother." "I will," he said. He turned to leave. Then he stopped. A woman came into the shop holding a small envelope. She looked at the worker. "Excuse me," she said. "I think I received someone else's letter. What should I do?" The worker looked at Sarah and smiled. Sarah stood up. She walked to the woman. "First, check the name and apartment number," Sarah said gently. "Then do not throw it away. Try the right apartment. If no one answers, leave a note. Or call the delivery company." The woman nodded. "Thank you. I was worried." Sarah smiled. "I understand. It happened to me this morning." The woman looked relieved. Daniel lifted the package. "You helped me," he said. Sarah picked up her laptop bag. "At first, I needed help too," she said. "But now, I know what to do." She walked back to her building slowly. The lift was still broken. The stairs were still long. But Sarah felt lighter. The package was no longer in her arms. The problem was finally solved. And maybe, just maybe, the interview had gone better because of it. The morning had started with confusion. Then came the wrong address. Then came the missing neighbor. Then came the unanswered phone calls. Then came the race against time. But Sarah never gave up. She kept asking questions. She kept looking for answers. She stayed polite. She stayed calm. And in the end, she helped a stranger. The stranger received the package. Sarah completed her interview. It was a small but important victory.